Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mapness. My name is Till. I am one of the founders of Dungeon Fog, and today I will be again answering your questions and just building a map. Sorry, the music is really loud, at least for me. I will tune it down a little bit. I hope you're still hearing the music. Right, so what's the goal of today? The goal of today is just having some fun building maps. I actually don't have a new map that I need to build for hat-free. Yes, I am hat-free today. So the goal for today is I don't have a map for my office game to build. I'm pretty well prepped since we're doing the mapping it out now. The Welcome to the Mapness streams now. I have quite a few maps that we still have to explore. But I was building a tower map for Orkenspalter TV that I haven't had the opportunity to present to you. And also I know that there were some questions from last time that we could pick up. So it's just, if you want me to show you something, let me know. Otherwise, I can show you the map I did for Orkenspalter TV, the guard tower, and yeah, and then we will just hang out and do a little map making today. Right. So let me just quickly save the one thing I did here. Exit, and let's switch screens. Sorry, I'm clicking buttons. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing fine. It's become a little springtime in Vienna, so today I was able to enjoy a little bit of sun outside. And I was mapping away for the guard tower, which I'm loading up right now, and I'm going to screen share so you can see it. It's a giant map, so it takes some time to load. Hi, Sammy. Okay, so what we're doing with Orkenspalter TV currently is we're streaming while we're writing an adventure. It's going to be a D&D 5th edition adventure in German, and once it's finished, and we believe that it might be finished somewhere around early summer, we will then publish it for German, and I will also translate it to English so we can share it in English as well. And Myri is basically, she's the creative, she's writing everything, she's together with her community, we're recreating an adventure that she has already played in a live play, and now we're taking this and we're pulling things together and publishing it. And I offered Dungeon Fog to do the page layout design, which is technically where I came from before Dungeon Fog was a thing. I was a graphic designer. And apparently we're doing the maps, and over the time we're not doing battle maps alone. We're also going to do the region maps and world maps for the adventure, because by the time that we are ready to publish it, Deus will be in a state where it really makes sense to do region maps and probably a world map, or at least a continent view of the area where the adventure is playing. Oh yeah, I should have seen that coming. So what we've already done was in the stream last week, we've built the city of Manaka, or the town of Manaka. And now for this stream, I actually was planning to, the initial goal was to get as far as we can go into the tower and discuss how the tower is constructed. Now we didn't make it there in the stream today on Orkenspalter TV, but still I feel like this is a good example of how you can create tower maps, especially circular tower maps, and I wanted to show that to you. So I think, let me check. Yes, this looks good. So this is basically just for a rough concept. I kind of created a little tower layout so that I can understand, okay, how many levels will the tower have, and how is it constructed generally. And then I started with the base layer. So this is German. This is ground floor. Let me just rename those things. Ready room. Storage. You're not calling that ground floor, you're calling that base floor. Oh, right, so let's rename that. Foyer, I think that is the same thing, and this is the guards room. Right, but the big question is, okay, there you go. In that case, let's stick with ground floor. There you go. So the big question is, how did I create that one? And it's fairly simple. Let me just see if I can crash my map today, because this is already a big one. But let's increase the size down. Apply. So now I have the possibility. What I did, just let me show you first what I did, is I created the ground floor. Then I've created what I'm calling, like, it's not the second floor or the first floor, it's intermediate floors. I don't know how you could call that better. So this is a template, because the idea behind that is that on the Orkenspalter stream, we're decorating it. So the idea behind the tower is that the players will get this tower. This is going to be their base, which means that you should give your players the opportunity to start which room do they want to decorate, how, and they can create the layout for each room. We're going to kind of emulate that with Myri, where I show her the layout and she then starts to decide what we put in which room. And once we're finished, the whole map with the template rooms will be available for you, so that you can, if you want to play on that tower, you can take it and do the same thing, probably in a session 0 with your players, where you say, okay, look, let's just decorate it. Who wants to take this room? What should be that room? And so on and so forth. So if we go back, we can see that the ground floor and the intermediate levels, they all share the same architecture, and only the upper area then gets bigger, which I did like this. So there's, what's the green thing on the inner circular wall? You mean those things? Those are banners. So this is from the new Dwarven pack. which I almost can't shift anymore because that map is gigantic. Stop, don't scroll. I was trying to blow it up so that you can have a look at it. But it's just spinning. Oh, right, I should have turned off the lighting, because when you're having so many light sources on the map, and again, when you're having, the idea is that I created those basically to understand how the layout is, and then you're going to see I cloned the map and split it and put them on separate levels. But for the initial groundworks, I wanted to stay on the same level so that I can look at everything, which means that I placed all the light sources and everything on the same map, and that is really resource intense. It's going a lot better once you turn off the light sources. So this is the thing that's hanging there. It's intended to be something like a wall banner. Varanasi asks, like, why are you looking down into the stairwell? So the idea is that this tower is constructed around a giant statue. So in the center of the tower itself is kind of one of those saints that is protecting the lands. And I wanted to have something where when you walk up the stairs, you're walking around a giant statue until you reach the upper floor. I did something like that. Forecaster just says something cool you could do with the side view, put an arrow shape on each floor pointing at the current floor. We're going to see that in the other map. Like when I cloned it, what I basically did was I went into the floor that you're currently in and then just colorized it. So the more you level up, the more you advance, each of those will get highlighted. Okay, so how did I do this one? Well, basically what I did is, first of all, let me bring back my grid, because that will help a lot. I did not draw this, like, I didn't draw the whole thing. All I needed to do was I needed to draw one of these rooms, like this one, for example. And I basically did this, I helped myself. So the first thing I was doing is I was creating, I think it was 7 by 7. 7 by 7 and 7 by 7. So this was just like a guide for me that helped me to understand how big the whole thing should be. So I turned all of this into circles, but I'm going to delete this one in a second. It just helps me to understand where I'm working at. So the next thing I did was I was counting, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and close. Okay, now I have what I need and I can get rid of that one. And circle. It's going into the wrong direction, which is fine. Circle. Because all I need to do is I need to select that and invert the radius. There you go. So this was the first, this is basically all I needed to do for that. Apart from then creating this inner area here, which we're going to do next. And now I just adjusted the floor and wall textures. And let me just look because I can't remember. I had an inner wall thickness, so I've created this as below ground. Because I only have black outside, so I don't really care whether or not there is an outer wall. I've created this just as below ground with an inner wall thickness of 20. And then I picked those two textures, which now I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to do this. Oh, wrong texture. And this one. So once I had that, before I started to rotate and duplicate the whole thing, because with room duplication it's a lot easier now to get those things working, is I wanted to have this little kind of elevation in the tower, and that is really simple to do because all you need to do is you create a shape, a rounded shape with the, where's the center? I believe this is the center. Okay, let me aim for the center. I could have gone to snap to grid. Okay, and expand it like this, which is not going to be very helpful because I didn't select the texture first. So let's do that. Select the texture, this one. Now let's do the same thing. Place down and just make it a little smaller, like something like this. But first we need to select it, edit, and go into subtraction mode. So now I can just subtract, and it's still outside because I haven't moved it into the room. But the second I move it into the room, it's here, and I can place it wherever I like. And just because I don't want to, this is a lot of artifact that I don't really need, I went back into the edit mode and basically did, oh, no snap to grid now, please. Basically did just this. So now I have this little thing here, which should throw an outer shadow as well. And let me see. Yes, last thing was then adding the windows, but I didn't want to add the windows in the first place. I first wanted to construct everything and then in the final step add windows and doors. So all I need to do now is I need to duplicate, place, press R for rotation, 90 degrees, there you go, and then take the outer one because that's the easiest one to snap, and snap it here. Check, yes, perfect. Duplicate, place, rotate, 90, snap, duplicate, place, R for rotate, 90, snap, snap now, there you go. So now I've already created all of this. For the inner thingy, I just created another. Let me just pick that up. This is always a little tricky because you already have the rounded shapes. So what you could do is, to make it easier, is to shift at least 1 and 2 to the sides. Wait, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. 2, 2. Oh, wait. Okay. And now, and now I think it's here. right? Oh my god. It's 1, 2, 1. It's 1, 1. Here I should start. Okay. Circle. 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 And back. Okay. If we want to create that entrance here, we have to cut out. So what we can do is we can use the split wall function for that, because it always takes the exact center where it splits, which means I can do split, 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 and if I remove that point here, I now have the exact center that I can make hidden. Same thing for here. Split, 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 remove the center, and hide. Okay, so now we have that as well. And now I believe this is this a room? It looks like it is a room. Oh, right, because I've added the statue later on. Initially it looked like that, which is absolutely useless now because we have put the statue on top of it. Oh, that was my light source. Come back here. But we could do the same thing, just to be completely on the same track. So I'm going to select my stairs. This is how it looks if I place it. Let me see. Here. And as you can see, for those, I removed the inner wall thickness I reduced it to 2, because otherwise it's too much taking away from my stairs. So here we can do the same thing, reduce it to 2. And again, let's see, this is just fine-tuning, see that it looks as centered as possible. And rotate it a little bit. Okay. And let's add the inner column in there. Circle, 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 and circle. Now this looks different because I need to switch to advanced here and make the floor texture and the outer wall texture exactly the same. And then we can say the outer wall casts shadows and outline, but the inner wall does not. Wait, what? Oh, right, the outer wall's thickness has to be 2. Otherwise nothing happens. There you go. We still can see that there is a little offset here because of the way that this asset is constructed. So we need to play around with it. Let's make this, for example, 12. Now we are hiding basically what is looking cool on the asset. On other occasions, we now want to hide here. So I did this. And all we need to do now is, let me move that away, is to make this work. And this is basically very simple because all we need to do is we need to make this one straight and split So now I can move it here and split. And hi Petro. And move it here. And now I can take this one and make it circular. And we've perfect, almost, yes, no, 210. That's perfect. It's absolute fit. So there you go. Now we have that as well. And now we can just go in and add the doors and the windows. I'm going to show you a little trick for the windows, which I find quite nice. Let's start with that. So I'm going to select. It's fantasy windows. No, it wasn't fantasy. Oh, no, wait, where was it? Bars, there it is. Okie doke. So technically I'm seeing it. You will hardly see it because it's very transparent, but I can see it on my screen, and now I can pick where on the area I want to place it, and I'm going to place it. Let me just see. Let me count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I can place it here. There you go. Let me zoom in. I think this is very hard to see for you. So we have placed this here, and because the go away light settings, because the switch for cutout in wall is active, it will automatically cut into the wall. And when I select it, I have a different option now, which says transparent, which means that it lets light through. So I will activate that too. Because if I now take a light source, and for that, let me just save it, because now I have to bring back all the light sources, which will take a little bit of loading here. Let's activate that and see how long it takes, because that really puts stress on the map. I don't know, Larsus, did you see a bug? We will see. I didn't experience one, at least. Oh yeah, there you go. Let's wait. Yeah, I have about, I don't know, probably 40 different light sources on that map, and a lot of shadow casting, so this is quite stressful, but it is, I believe it's finished now. So I will show you here. Do I want to scroll up? I'm not sure. Yeah, let's quickly scroll up. There you go. Guards room. Okay. So he's still rendering a little bit here. I will quickly turn it off for now, because here you will see that if I select this room, hopefully I will be able to grab the light sources. And let me just duplicate them. Well, working at 300% is quite annoying. So what you can do is you can take the light sources, and let me just place them here and show them individually. They are currently I will keep the light switch still deactivated because again, this is on this map. This is already quite a performance killer. You know what? Let me just do the following. Let me just quickly save the map. LK asks, is there going to be a way to enlarge the doors? And the answer is yes. This is already on the roadmap for this year. It's going to be in the second half of this year, probably last quarter of this year. But we want to do a dynamic door system that basically doesn't use props for doors, but that allows you to create dynamically generated doors, and you have all the options to adjust them. Okay. So I think did I reload? I don't know. Let me just quickly clone that one. And let's remove all the many rooms and light sources, so I can show you that more smoothly. Hide all lights. I don't need that. That will speed up loading a little bit. And now I can just select those and let's remove that one. Add that one. And that one, because I just made a clone, so I'm not worried about deleting stuff. But that will give me a little bit more speed boost. So I can show you what I'm doing here. So, okay. Let me just show all the light sources. So I have actually, let me ramp them up so you can see them. So as you can see, I have 3 light sources here. 2 of which have like a distance of 14 squares, which is way too much. I just ramped it up to some extent, but very low lightness settings. So this one and this one, they both have, wait, this one should have 14 as well. And then there is one that only has 4, but is very bright. And the idea behind that is, at least that was what I liked when I was playing around with it, is that when you move them to the window, they are still, because I've placed them inside the room, they are still part of the room, but now using the arrow keys, I can reposition them outside of the room. They're still belonging to the room, but I use the arrow keys to just reposition them outside. And now they should actually start casting light. Yes, they are. There you go. Okay. So let me zoom in. And the 14 is completely useless. So I don't know why I set them to 14, because it's completely useless. It's the light source would need a range of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at max. And it's just killing performance to have such a high distance. So let's remove that to 5. And the other one to 5 as well. And there should be, where are you? There should be one that has probably 3. Okay. So by using this, I kind of created this effect of having a sprayed light that's shining into the room from the outside. And what I then did was I created the door. So I did the same thing as before. I was trying to find the perfect center, which means I went for split wall. So this is the perfect center of this quarter circle here. And I can go in there and say split wall again. And split wall again. So I'm always aiming for the perfect center, which means I'm narrowing it down. And I feel like now I have a good entrance, so I can remove that point and hide this wall. It might be even a little bit too small, but that would be too big. So let's split again. Let's split again. And let's get rid of this one. And let's get rid of this one. And make this hidden once more. There you go. Now we have a nice entrance here. And then I went for the shapes, which is gigantic at the moment. But I only want that at 3. Yep, circular. So much splitting. Yes, you don't have to, but the reason I'm doing this is because the way that the split tool works gives me the exact center that I'm looking for. And kind of symmetry is key here if you want to duplicate and rotate and you want to make sure that it is really where it belongs. So it's the till way. Okay, so now we're going to place this here. We're duplicating it, doing the exact same thing in here. And we're sending it back by Control Shift and full stop. We can send it to the ground. And now, let me see, it still does need to drop an outer shadow. Same for the outer one. Yes, that's the snoozing dog behind me. Outer shadow. And now we're doing the same thing. We're duplicating this, making it a little bit smaller. Where is my center? I could again go for, where's my snap to grid? Okay, so we're going to aim right, there you go. And for this one, I wanted to do something different. So we have the stairs here. Let me just quickly, so that you can see it better. Come on, light source. Let's place a light source here. Okay. So this should be at the same colorization and lightness as this one. So I'm going to select it and pick that color. Did I pick it? I feel like I didn't. Oh, right. That's because the lighting, there's a difference between stage and room lighting. That's why it's outside of the room. Now it works. There you go. Okay. But now I want to create the same thing here. But it should not, like if I just duplicate it and place it here into that room, it also creates this ledge between the elevation and the outside and this one, and I don't really like that. So what I'm going to do instead is let me remove that. Is I'm going for that one and I'm clicking edit, aiming for the center, making it smaller, and now I'm just adding to that shape. And I am done. Yeah, the effect we're seeing here is because I made this just inner wall thickness, so this is a below ground. If I go back to normal, then I have it. This is exactly what I was looking for. And the setting for this should be, yeah, outer wall thickness just 4, inner wall thickness is 20. We will have to, we now have a little gap here, so we have to do the same thing. Pick, paint, 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 and we're done. We could try the same thing for this one. Yeah, but that's the inner wall thickness, that's the problem. Doesn't really matter if it has an outer wall thickness, the inner wall thickness has to be lower. Oh, hello World Anvil. Hi everyone. We're building a tower here. So let me zoom out here a little bit. Let's stick with 200% for now. Jesus. Every time there's so many burning forges when you enter. All right. So for the statue that I've placed here, what did I say? Oh, forges. Right. Sorry, anvils. Burning anvils. My apologies. Oh my god. So for the statue in here, what I was going to do is I went for the statue. You might have already guessed what is going to happen here. I think it's in Lost. No. Tributary. No. Flavor. Which one did I pick? I can't remember. Church? No. Cemetery? No. Wilderness. There it was. This one it was. That's true. And it needs to be above walls, otherwise it's not going to work, and we can blow it up like that. And then just try to place it here. So now we have this statue here, and you might have seen before that because I wanted to, first of all, I think I've reduced the saturation on the statue, and we can use a light source here to set a little highlight there. Hi wordy girl, this is Dungeon Fog, the battle map maker that we're using here. Don't worry, it's getting late here in Austria too. So now for the let's have a look at. I think that was pretty easy to follow as how I've created this, and again now it's repetitive. It's just creating more of those windows wherever I like them, and adding a few details, adding the doors. We should add the doors. Which one did I use? I think I've used the dungeon doors. So if I say snap to grid, the dungeon door will perfectly align to the grid. So I can place one here, and I can place one here. I didn't place one here because this was the storage, and the only entrance to the storage was through the guards room. And the cool thing with this light effect here is that when you cleverly place props, like for example the chair, that was a Victorian chair, I believe, yes. If you're aiming exactly for that and you're activating the shadow, so say cast shadow, why is it not doing anything? For some reason it's not casting, maybe. So it's either because the light sources are outside of the room and that is interfering somehow, which I don't think. Okay, come on. I want the light source content, daylight. No, no, yes. And let's increase this back to 5. Oh, there you go. It's, yeah, I remember why. So it is casting a shadow, and you can barely see it. What I again forgot is that I have a very high room light source, like room ambient light. So if I remove that to 20, you can see that it is casting a shadow. And I think this is really cool. Like if you take a prop and place it somewhere like here, where it is getting the shadow from the window, you could then even decide whether or not the window is very close to the bottom by stretching out the shadow a little bit, or if it is like on regular height and having the shadow being a little bit lower. Okay, now if you are working with such a low room lighting, you have to add more light sources, because otherwise your players will not see a lot. Yes, they purposefully have deactivated that, because otherwise I will be creating 3 different shadows. But what I want to do is I want to have the light beams as a visual effect and only one casting a shadow. But you need to add more light sources here. And you can, as always, you can do this by really picking a light source, something that has light attached. Like for example, I really like the candles from Keora. So on the guest artists, Keora Dark Lord, there we have candles. And if I place them, they're emitting a lot of light right now. This is not what it should be, because it's emitting at 7 squares, so this could be just 2 squares. And they have quite a high lightness intensity for a very dark room like this one. This would make sense. And now I could place another set of candles here. And for this area, we could use something like a brazier. Brazier. Or we could make it completely Diablo style and just have everywhere candles. But that very much depends. So the other thing you could do is, if you don't want to have all the candles visible, which is something I do very often, because I don't really care of my picture showing light sources. I just want to have the atmospheric light from the light source. I can just go in and make this invisible. Put it here, for example, extend it to 4. So that it now covers more of the area. It's very bright now, so I have to reduce it a little bit, like probably, I don't know, half it. Even more, I would say. Now we could increase it a little bit. And now we're having the same thing again. This is a light source and it's casting shadow. And we don't really want this because this is just atmospherical light, so we can turn off the prop shadow. And now we have a nicely lit room with dark areas and lighter areas where the candles are. Is it a 2D representation of a 3D object that can be tilted to be seen from an angle instead of looking from the top? So all the assets you're seeing are just PNGs. They're hand-drawn PNGs from our artist Tony Trauner. Which means that when we're talking about shadows, this is one of a very nice trick that we did, is we're basically just emulating a 3D shadow because we do not really know the 3D object behind it. It's just a picture. So what we're doing is we're extending the corners so that we still have, if you look closely, you will see that it still resembles the shape of the chair, but we're just extending it and connecting it to darken this area. And so it's a visual trick that we're doing, but this allows us to do this with every asset, which means even assets that you're uploading. So by doing this, we found, I believe, and I'm still really proud of Andy who came up with that solution, is we can give you, for custom uploads, or now that the marketplace is going into internal testing and external artists can sell their asset packs on Dungeon Fog as well, every asset can do this. Whereas if we would have worked with 3D models, it would have limited us to just allowing good shadows on 3D models. And so I'm extremely proud of this solution and the way that this works, because it makes an amazing effect. So we could do the same thing just to show you a different one, which also looks quite nice with the armor. We have a very cool suit of armor that we could, let's say it's standing here and here, protecting the entrance. And if we now take this light source here, because we're not going the door, which I forgot to place by the way, but the door is closed, so let's put the light source here. And this one should have prop shadows, so we need to turn on cast shadows on those props. Look at that. I love it. It's amazing. So if I start to turn this, You will see it's always trying to get a clever shape out of it, a clever shadow. I would not like to enter that tower if there are so many aggressive armor statues looking at me. Thank you, Warrigal. Have fun with it, have fun playing around with it. Almost all features are available on the free account, so you can use the light sources, you can use all of that stuff. There are a few things like a lot of the textures are for premium subscribers, so you can still use the assets, but they're watermarked. If you just want to check it out and see how it looks, there's also the opportunity to just get an on-demand code, which means it's kind of a prepaid system where you pay for 30 days and you have 30 days premium access and you can use everything. And if you really like it, then feel free to subscribe. And there you go. Okie doke. Now the next thing I want to show to you is you don't have to, as I did with this one, as I did with the triple light sources here, you don't have to use one single light source to kind of dish out the details of lighting. I can just go in and duplicate the same thing. And if I place it here, as you can see, the second light source is now casting because I've placed it on a, let me just make it visible. Here's one. Where's the other one? And here's the other one. Because I've shifted the places a little bit so they're not exactly over each other, they're casting separate shadows. And if we go in there and say, okay, this is a very long shadow, let's reduce that a little bit. It gets, at least that's my opinion, it looks a little bit more realistic. Right, but we kind of got lost in the light tool here. Let's save this for now. Let's end this, and let's look at what I then did to create the multi-level tower. So I'm going out of that one, and oh no! Wait, I need to go see all my maps because I've created too many maps today. It is it's an Orchidspalter. This is the clone we just did, and this is what I was looking for. Let's go to, I believe 60% should cover all of it. Yes. So here you can now see I have a representation for where on the tower I am. And here I can switch to the lower level. Oh, wait, I need to deactivate the ghosting. Otherwise, we're always seeing several layers. So here we have the top level. I could then create something for the roof as well. I haven't yet. This one, again, as I said before, I didn't modify them yet because we don't know what Myri probably wants to add or wants to remove. So they are now just templates. And here you can see the bottom. Now, I liked it. I'm not sure if you've recognized it, but there is a little thing I did with the statue. The further you advance, the smaller the statue gets. We could even emphasize this because I just duplicated this. So here, statue could be, let me just see. Yeah. And Let's move it a little bit. Then it's getting smaller. And then it's really small because now you're high up in the tower. And those, they were, you see, there are a lot of things there, a lot of details that I've added. Hi DM. This was basically exactly the same thing. I've created the room and then this little outcropping here, and then I just duplicated it all around, placed the windows, placed the light sources, and it's not decorated yet because that we're going to do with Orgenspalte TV. Are there any questions so far? To be honest, I'm buying a little time because I know that AK Writer had a question from last time, and I believe AK, you're not there yet. Are you still there? Are you there? Because he wanted to know how I would be doing terrain elevations, and I promised him today that I'm going to show it. So let's give him 5 more minutes, and then I will show you how I do terrain elevations. Forecaster. I don't know. I found this on the internet. It was quite a weird thing. You can do a lot of stuff. Exactly. I think it's called MS Paint. So this is Dungeon Fog, the online battle map editor, and it's a vector-based drawing tool that tries to take off a lot of work off your shoulders. Doesn't really succeed in that. It takes a lot of work off your shoulders, but then it adds a lot of work because you want to dish out every detail, but you can't make us responsible for that. That's just you who wants to add so many details. And yeah, that's where I was with this map. And all I did was, the cool thing is you can take a level and you just click on duplicate, and it adds a duplication of that level with all the details in there. So this would be now Zwischenstopp number 3. Beanie? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm never wearing a hat. I have no idea. This is me. So Val B. Gem asks, how resource intense is this program on a computer? A heavy mapped image. How long on an average does it take to load on your PC? So the thing is, as you have seen, or you might have joined later, if you're working with a lot of light sources and a lot of shadow casting, it can get quite resource intense. It's browser based, which means that you need to run it on Chrome or Firefox. I'm not the super expert on technical details there, but I know that Chrome is capping your RAM usage, and Firefox is dealing with that a little bit better. But having a dedicated graphics card is something that I would recommend working with it, especially when you're working with light sources. So the second you turn off light sources, it's perfectly fine, because then we don't need to render all the lighting effects and all the dynamic lighting and dynamic shadow generation. And it's a lot less resource demanding. But the second you work with a lot of light sources, you should have a rather good PC. Okay, so let's leave that one. I don't want to save it because I haven't changed a lot of things. And let's go to terrain elevation, because that was a question. And the question was, how am I doing terrain elevation in Dungeon Fog? And I've prepped a little thing for you, and there are basically 2 ways that you can do it, and it mainly plays with the size of the textures and the lighting effect on the textures. So this is with no, so as you can see, if I hide all the lights, there is no lighting effect here. This is just pure drawing. And The way I did that is in two different ways. One is with brushes, and the second one is with shapes and props. So this one is rather simple. If you want to create something with shapes and props, you go to the Shapes tool. Let me just pick that texture here. And let's check. It needs to have an outer shadow, probably, we will see, and an outline. And now I am creating this. Now this doesn't really look like a terrain elevation, and I was playing around with something like the you know, the elevation lines that usually are drawn on maps, but that actually didn't really look good. It is a quick way to do it because you could just easily duplicate and shrink, duplicate and shrink, duplicate and shrink. And you could then go in and edit the, thank you, cartographic elevations. Change grid, texture size and texture lightness. But I wasn't really happy with that. So what I did next was I went into our category that is called Terrain in the Dungeon Fog Props tool. And there you can find a lot of different cliff thingies, like for example this one. Let me see, let me take a steep convex cliff for that one. And now I'm ignoring this for now because it's much easier to first place this. Let's make this for now above walls so I can put it over here. It's not going. Oh, wait, are you above walls too? Yeah, okay, that doesn't work then. I need to. There you go, overrun terrain. I need to put you on top. And now when I go in and edit, I can now, let me zoom in there a little bit. I can now start to draw this over the edges. I just check, yes, that's fine. And if I'm clever, I'm grouping this, I'm calling this level 1. So, no. Yes, okay. So, cliff, cliff, cliff. I'm putting them all in a folder because that will make my life much easier in a second. So now I have them in a folder. I should have them in a folder. Come on. Yes. So I can duplicate the whole thing, scale it down, rotate it a little bit to create some offset, place it down, and make it smaller again, and something like that. And that instantly looks more natural than just having the lines here. And when you, the next thing I would do is I would then, I'm not sure if I like the outer shadow. I actually don't like it. So there's a little relic here. We can hide that behind a bush. And the next thing I would do is, because I've picked that round texture, now we're going up a little bit, which means we're going closer to the camera. And that means that this, go away light source, this scaling should go up a little bit. 240 probably. Yes. And it should get minus 20. Let's go to minus 15. It should get a little lighter. Same here. Let's go up. This is now 140, 160. And minus 5. Let's try that one first. And the last one then, if we always is raised by 20, this is 180. And this could then have a plus 5. Doing that also creates, it adds to the idea of a raised terrain. And the last thing, so now we have this, those shadows, I drew them by hand. And what I did was I basically just went in there, picked, oh no, my color picker is broken, I had that before today. So in that case, let's just take it from here. And it's a bad position, but let's assume that the light is coming from down here. And then I'm going to just draw shadows. Now don't worry, I've added it to the stage, which means it's being hidden by the other objects. The second I putting this above walls, it works perfectly fine. And it looks weird because I haven't addressed the lightness yet. And we can play around a little bit, just very, very briefly, with the softness. And if we look at that, it already looks fine, although we have those fragments here that can look good or cannot look good, depending on whether you like it or not. So what we can always do is we can go in, edit the shape, go to subtract, make it very small, and get rid of those things. Are there anywhere else? Some... Yes, here. And we're done. No. This is very weird. This is a two-sun system, and the suns are almost probably 50 kilometers above ground, which actually should make this more look like that. So the other thing I did was here, if you want to then create something like a ramp, like something that is just smoothly cutting these elevations, is very simple. I just took a brush. I've picked the one of the textures, and then let's start. No, wait, let's make you above walls from start, and then I just do this. Nice try. I wanted this texture, have it a little bit more, add a little bit more softness to it, not too much. And although this is already looking good, if you want to be really precise, you then go in and say, okay, here, wait, where can I grab the right one? Here, it needs to be at, this scaling. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Finish brush. Here it needs to be at this scaling. Finish brush. and top here, it then needs to be this, and again we need to set the softness for all those brushes to a more softer state, and then we can play around with the details. And we should make sure that, where is it, 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 where are you? Yes, it's you. This should still be on top. And now it looks like that, which is quite nice. And this is just with brushes, so there's no light effect here. So basically, again, using different texture sizes and a little different lightness on each texture already creates a good feeling for terrain elevation. And then with your brush, adding some additional darkened areas or probably lightened areas helps as well. So if we, let me just revert the floor texture. If we're doing something like this, this looks very, I think this looks extremely cool. It's a little bit more, I don't know how to say, it needs a little bit more artistic feeling for it, and you have to play around with it quite often. But this, if you've got the knack, if you know how to do it, it's really simple. Because this is basically, those are just one. Where are they? Let me just hide everything for a second. So this is one shape, and again, it's just a brush. This is one brush. Then I've added a second brush with a different, again, a different size. Then I've added a third brush, lightness and size, and a last one. And we're going to do this now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brush with a little softness, pick the ground texture. Let's do it here. And place it down. Now this isn't very sexy because it has exactly the same settings as the base texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in there and reduce it. And don't be shy, like make it really dark. Now all I need to do is, I could, because I already want this to be elevated, so I could go in there and say this is not at 140, but this is, well, first of all, I think the floor, I think my initial floor was at 120%. Okay. So now this could be 140, which is adding 20% to the size of the texture. And now all I need to do is I need to duplicate that, make it a little bit smaller, and here's one of the tricks, don't make it centered. This will not look good. Give it a little, and ideally they all have the same perspective offset. So as you can see from the center, this has a little perspective offset to the upper right. So I'm going to do the same thing here, upper right. Nothing happened. Well, apparently not, because I need to now change this from 140 to 160, making it bigger. And from the lightness, I feel like we can go down to 30. Okay, already created a little elevation there. Jonas Friedhoff asks, how would you create a hedge? Now, are you talking about, sorry, what's a hedge? For me, this sounds like a shrubbery thing. like bushes aligned on to create something like that, or are you talking more like the damn things? A solid wall of shrub. Okay, there you go. You could probably you could, but I would more likely use, if it is cut in a way that it is like maintained by someone, I would use walls for that and give the walls specific texture, or I would really use props for that. We can have a look at that in a second. So for this one, as you can see, it works quite nice for a rounded shape. And now what I did was, there is a third one. I would just duplicate it so you can see it quickly. Adding that on top. Why not on top? Wait. Oh yeah, right. And the last one is a nice trick. The last one is basically, as you can see, this is moon shaped. So what I did was I created here another one. Can make it a little bit bigger. Something like that. This is very bright. This could go from -15 into +20. Even more, +40. Not sure if we can do more. Let's see. 60. And when I go into edit, I can go into the subtraction mode, and now I'm cutting off a little bit here. And now we're having this, if we're moving it a little bit, I can go even up. Where are you? Moon. Where's my moon? There it is. 80. Yeah, better. And if you would like to have a hill that is not like this, looks a little bit like it's getting flat on top, you will just have to continue this. So instead of doing this right now already, you would have to go in and say, okay, duplicate, smaller, lot smaller, like this, and then scaling to 40. Wait. Yeah. Lightness 40. And now it's getting rounder. And then you would have to take, come on, too many things on the stage. Then you would have to take this one, make it smaller here, and I think we would still have to ramp up the lighting here. I'm not sure if we should do it though, because now it looks like there is a little nipple on top of it, which we don't want to. Oh, Finn. He's complaining because it's bedtime for him and I'm still talking, which he doesn't like. So this is just for the for a circular shape. You can do the same thing, like if you go in edit mode and you're now adding something like this, you basically just have to expand this throughout the other, and always make sure that you're kind of paying attention to the perspective. Okay. There you go. And working with different sizes and the different offsets basically just defines, or like this one, if we would hide it, wish I would know which one this was. Let's just delete it for a second. So the more levels you add to it, the steeper it gets. The more you reduce, the softer it gets. Right. Okay, so how to do a shrubbery. Bring me a shrubbery. I think one of the, and now we're, let's save this one. Let's create a new one. Wait. Now, always wait for this message. Okay, let's stay in this texture here. So what you can do is you can create a room. And we will look at different options. I don't know yet how I would approach it. I'll probably go by 1010 because that's how thick such a shrubbery would be. And now for the floor, I'm going to pick that one. And for the wall, I'm going to select something planty. Like that, for example. Let's play around with the scaling. So that could be one thing. That could be how I would do it. And if I want to have it more like natural, I can select. I have to select each. This is how it works currently. You have to select each wall segment. But the second you select it, you can make cave inside, cave outside. Cave inside, cave outside. And there you go. I feel like this looks perfect for something that is, for example, a garden, like a fence, a plant fence, a shrubbery fence around a garden. The only other way I could think of is, thank you, this is a good shrubbery. Are you accepting my offering? I think there is. I think we have a square one somewhere, probably under Victorian. No? Oh no, then it must be somewhere under flavor. And there's a lot in there. Let me see if I have, if square gives me something. Traps, rooftops, no. Pirates, no. Square dish, clockwork, no. Fantasy, tables, outdoor, furniture, dungeon, no. Cyberpunk, outdoor, no. Modern, decoration, no. Furniture, no. No. Trees, look at that. I think this is what, yes, there you go. So this would be the other option, to just go in there and place them. Let's just make sure that we select them. They don't need to be above walls. Drop shadow. We could saturate it a little bit more, make it a little darker, and then go like, maybe one is a little bit bigger. That's the other way. But I feel like if I want to really, and again, map, depending on how much details you would like to add to it, I think this is a perfect solution for that. And you could go in and make it like circled. Um, Great. I'm happy I could help. Are there any other questions from you? Because otherwise, what? You have a question, Finn? Oh, right. It's 10. It's his medicine time. Okay. So in this case, I will quickly hide behind my shrubbery, and we'll go and feed the dog with his medicine and let him out. And I will be back in 3 minutes to answer more questions. All right. I am back. Thank you for waiting. Um, so, are there any questions from your side? Is there anything you want me to showcase? Do you have anything you would like to see how that could be done? Um, we've created shrubberies today. We've created a tower. We've created elevations. Oh, Orkenspalter has joined. Hi. So yeah, I've been showing the tower that we're going to build for you in your stream, Orkenspalter TV. And let me just quickly... Which one was it? Was it that one? I don't think so. That was the new one we've created. I should name them. Edit details. Let's rename that to... welcome to Mapness. And that one we should edit details. Okay. There was a question from Tomasz. I have a question about Deus. Do you plan to add tools for top side large scale maps, meaning terrain, elevation, contour lines? Yes, eventually. It is something that we are still trying to figure out how to do best. So either it's just the lines, the elevation lines that you can add, or we could possibly find a mechanic that will help you with that, something like a heat map system. But it's not going to be in the early development stages. Like, this is something that might even come after we have launched with Deus, and we're just adding features to it. But we know that this has been requested quite a few times, and we're going to address it eventually. Since we don't really know how to approach it yet, we're parking it a little bit, and we will address it once we're ready for it. I'm sure Orkenspalter wants to see the wizard tower, so let's quickly show that to them. There you go. So for those of you who have joined later, for Orkenspalter who just popped in, this is what I've prepped for the next Orkenspalter stream, where we're going to do the guard tower, and I've created several rooms for that. So I have a little sketch for myself to understand at what level are we at the moment, and then we can go down from level to... This is going to be the same thing because I just duplicated it, and we will be just decorating this. So this is going down the stairs. As you can see, there's a giant statue in the center, some kind of protective statue that the tower was built around, probably something to kind of represent good luck or protection for this tower. And the lower you go down, the bigger the statue gets, because the closer you're getting to the bottom. And then we have the lower entrance with everything that we need, and we might just in the next stream then start decorating it more, start dishing out the details. So this is going to be the guard tower that is throning or watching over Manaka. Right, guys, if you don't have any more questions to me, then I think we will end our stream tonight, because I don't have much more to show. There are just a few announcements that I would like to give to you. Definitely check out our stream next Tuesday, because I've seen the list of patch notes that's coming out for Dungeon Fog, the battle map editor, and it's quite extensive. There are some really cool new things in there, and we will address the whole patch note next Tuesday, 8 p.m. here in Vienna, which means 7 p.m. UTC. and we will just look at all the things that have been added. There's going to be a new asset pack coming on Tuesday. We're also going to review the Dwarven pack that was released last Tuesday. We're looking at all the feature updates, patch notes like bug fixes, improvements that we have added, and we will also, so it's going to be a longer one. I'm pretty sure next Tuesday will not fit into 1 hour. We're going to look at the voting results from your roadmap survey, and we're also going to, nope, that's it, because the fonts will already be integrated, the fonts that you have voted for. So if you want to participate in the roadmap voting, I'm pretty sure someone can drop the link. If not, I will drop the link in a second. We have currently a voting ongoing for Dungeon Fog where we are asking you for your recommendation of what we should do next. And this is going to end tomorrow. So tomorrow evening I will close the submission for the vote. So that I have the time on Monday to review your votes and prep them for the stream on Tuesday. Also, there is a channel in our Discord. Thank you, Lasses. There you have the link now in the chat. And at least in the Twitch chat, I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the YouTube chat as well soon. For the text tool, as you can see here, we currently have a few fonts integrated, but we've asked you to submit font requests. So if you want to suggest a font to us, there are some requirements that you have to follow, but go to our Discord forum, go to our Discord server, and in the channel font submission, you will find the rules and you will find everything you need, and you can submit fonts that we will then integrate. If you don't want to submit own fonts, check out the submissions of the others, because you can vote on them. You can say, this one is very important to me, this one is very important to me. And we will also on Monday, I will have a look at the full list, and together with the team, we will condense it and pick the highest voted ones and integrate them there. And then we will just slowly add more fonts over time. So all of this is going to happen on Monday and Tuesday, and on Tuesday in the weekly community stream, I will do the summary for you and we will talk about everything that happened. And then again, next Thursday, we're going to do another Welcome to the Mapness stream, where I will be then probably again picking up on a map for my office game that we will then continue to build. And I'm not sure if I already want to start with one of the bigger maps, or if we're going to continue doing some of the puzzle shrines. I feel like I want to start with the tomb probably. So this is coming up next Thursday, so in a week. Are there any other things to announce? Let me just quickly check, because let's look at what our partners are doing. Chaora has a new NPC pack, Dwarves and Elves, that is available on Patreon. So if you would like to check that one out, you can find it. You can find Chaora at chaora.com, and there you can also find the link to his Patreon page. So I'll just copy that link. That is faster. So this is for Chaora's new NPC pack, Dwarves and Elves. Both you can find there. And World Anvil has a little challenge ongoing where you can win art for your world in the World Anvil Flash Challenge. That is live right now at this link here. So if you want to take part in a World Anvil Challenge, have a look at that. For us, we are going to announce our March contest in it's probably not going to be next week, because again, the next community stream will be quite extensive, probably both. So somewhere next week or the week after, we will then announce the March contest, because we want to do a little map challenge with you, and that is going to be announced soon. And with that said, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for asking questions. And with any further ado, I hope you have a great day, or a great evening, or a great morning. I say thank you very much, and wait, what does that say? Oh, that's the button. Happy map making.